Jenna Sackett here, and I'm super excited to be doing this session with you all on heat pressing UltraColour. A lot of the characteristics within a heat press will definitely determine if the product is going to apply accurately. Go outside of just printing t-shirts and getting into accessories and other types of popular apparel such as sweatshirts, zip-up jackets, or even polos. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So the top 5 things that you need to know. So we're gonna do a quick overview of this real quick, and then we'll start at the heat press. So the first one is the key to getting a flat surface. We wanna make sure the print area is always nice and flat so that our adhesive and transfer can apply accurately. The importance of preheating and prepping your garment is number 2 on the list, and then the use of a cover sheet. Then, of course, following those application instructions. This is the biggest one. We wanna make sure we're getting accurate time, temperature, pressure, and making sure that we are using the right peel. There are a lot of different recommendations when it comes to heat transfers and when you should peel that carrier. So it's important to follow those instructions to a T so that you are getting a great application for this product. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Right, so I'm going to thread on my first garment, 100% polyester t-shirt. What a lot of people are used to is just taking the t-shirt and just placing the entire thing on there and heat pressing like this. Not that this is wrong, but for a successful heat application with UltraColour Soft, what we want to avoid is doing exactly this. Reason being, I have the underlayer of the t-shirt, the back part, coming through and creating some wrinkles and honestly just not giving me a nice, clean, flat surface to work with. Why could this cause an issue? Because these wrinkles under here, if it's close to my print area, it is going to cause an issue with pressure, where this piece is getting a lot more of the pressure. If my transfer is close to that, my transfer may not be getting the pressure it needs for that adhesive to cure accurately. We want to make sure that we are splitting the bottom of our t-shirt open and we are threading this on and getting our print area completely flat. All right, so now I don't have to worry about the bottom of this t-shirt causing any issue. And now what I want to make sure is that any seams that could be on my bottom platen are completely out of the way. Same issue that the underside of the t-shirt was causing with wrinkles popping up is the same issue that the seams could be causing as well. So our collar seam, even though this is a really thin, lightweight t-shirt, our transfer that we're applying is also thin and lightweight. And we don't want this to compensate getting a flat pressure to our transfer. So what we want to do is push this back and make sure that that seam is falling off of the back of the platen. We also want to make sure our sleeve seams are doing the same. So I'm just going to adjust this over and make sure that is completely out of the way. So that is number 1 on our top 5 things that we want to consider for an accurate application with UltraColour transfers. The second thing is the importance of a preheat. We want to make sure we are prepping our garment. I do have some wrinkles in the t-shirt, and we always talk about preheating, releasing moisture from the fabric as well. Not only can it release moisture, but it can also get rid of any chemicals that might be on the shirt. Apparel manufacturers tend to spray their product to keep it from wrinkling up during shipping and packaging and holding inventory. They don't want you to receive a shirt that's a wrinkled mess, so they may spray that. And those chemicals could be just keeping a top layer on there that could cause that adhesive to not apply accurately down the road, may cause it to want to peel off in a wash cycle. So we want to make sure we're eliminating anything that could keep it from not lasting that long, and that is one of them. So preheat, very important. Another thing is this allowing me to test my pressure, and this is going to be key for our application instructions. So preheat, get into the habit of just prepping your garment and testing your pressure before you go to place your heat transfer. So the first heat transfer I'm going to heat apply is the Serenity one. The application I'm going to do for this is a left chest logo. So I'm just going to place that. Number 3 on the list is cover sheets. Why are cover sheets important? Mainly we want to use cover sheets with UltraColour Soft because it is a cold peel and there is a lot of static that comes from the upper heating element whenever we lift it up. If that static happens to lift this carrier, it's going to start removing it from the print itself. And because it is a cold pill, we want to avoid that from happening. So this is going to cover that to make sure that it doesn't accidentally start peeling away too soon while it's still hot, because it will ruin it. It's not going to peel correctly. Also, it can protect your upper heating elements from getting any inks or adhesives on it that could potentially transfer down onto another garment. So I'm gonna go ahead and place this down. And number 4 on the list is following those application instructions. I already had this set up, so we are good to go. And now I'm just going to let the press do the rest of the work for me. I'm just going to lock this in place. It is now on the screen counting down the time. And this is going to be a cold peel. So remember that from the application instructions. So we're going to remove this from the bottom platen, and I'm just going to place it on a cool surface. So our transfer is nice and cool. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And you guys can see the finish there. All right, so it looks really great on 100% polyester. And I just love the feel, buttery soft. I wish you guys could feel it through the screen. I always say that. And I'm gonna hold this up close to the mic because I want you guys to hear that it doesn't take on like a papery feel like some of the other digital products out there. Really great finish there. You can see all of the colors and detail you are able to achieve, even that fine text at the bottom. So I'm going to stretch this for you too. You can see no cracking or peeling, does not distort the image at all, right? So really great product there. The t-shirts that I'm about to load on there is 100% polyester mesh. Okay, so you can kind of see my hand poking through there. This is going to require the dye blocker, right? So just loading that on, getting my print area nice and flat. That's number 1. So making sure that that collar is off the back of my platen. This is the transfer we're going to use. This is the blocker. Has a little charcoal backing on there. So that is blocking any dyes from migrating through. Before we place that, what do we want to do? Number 2, preheat and test our pressure, press the garment, prep the garment. So I'm just going to lock this down. Then we're going to place our transfer, cover with the cover sheet. We want to make sure that we are not getting any static that could be lifting up that transfer. And we also want to protect our upper heating element. So we're going to lock that down and let our heat press do the rest of the work for us. Awesome finish there. That was the blocker. No dyes migrating through. You'd be able to see it where the light is and the gradient just kind of migrating through and distorting the overall color and look of our number here. All right, so really great for sports. I mentioned thick seams or anything that could cause uneven pressure or getting a flat surface. And there are accessories that you can use interchangeable platens with. A lot of people don't understand the importance of interchangeable platens. So let me just review that with you quickly. You always have to isolate the area that you're decorating, especially if there are buttons, zippers, any type of obstruction on the garment that could cause a surface to not get completely flat on your bottom platen. This is one of the easiest ways to just be able to pop out the bottom platen, drop this baby in and isolate that area. Now, if you are not working with interchangeable platens, that's okay because there are other solutions. There are heat printing pads. You can trim these up. You can stack them on top of each other if you need to. Whatever you need to do to get that nice flat surface and isolate that print area, that's going to allow you to do that. I'm going to be heat applying this really pretty peacock, and we're going to be using the 50-50 blend, really popular. So we're going to take it outside of just decorating t-shirts. So I'm going to load this on, threading it, making sure that I'm working with just the top layer of my garment. The seams meet the crew right here, and then they drop down. We need to avoid these thick seams from getting in the way and causing uneven pressure. I'm going to use a mouse pad, and I'm going to thread that up to my print area. It's raising my print area, which is making the seams drop off to the side. But if I was working with a thick zipper or buttons, I may need to add another pad on top of that to raise that print area. So I'm going to cover with my cover sheet and lock this in place. And I am going to dial my pressure back just a tad because it was at a firm pressure. And now it's going to be at an even more firm pressure because I'm raising the print area. What you are not, I want to put this in bold on the screen and have it flashing. Do not use a pillow. Pillows do not work with glass dissolved ink transfers. They just do not apply accurately because it's a foam and it sinks down in and it's just not giving it the firmness that it needs from the pressure to cure that adhesive to the garment accurately. So do not use heat printing pillows, only use the print pads or the interchangeable pads. All right, so I can go ahead and remove my mouse pad. We're just gonna let this cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and peel this. And our application is complete. Thank you guys so much for joining me.